Do you ever play Minecraft and think to yourself, Nether portals are cool, but we can make them so much better? Because the Nether is a really cool place in Minecraft. However, the portals are just rectangular. They're kind of boring. So today, we're going to improve the design. So I've been having a fly around my creative world, and I think I've found the perfect spot for this absolutely epic Nether portal we're going to build. So I'm going to show you how. Welcome back to the channel. I am Beanie Boy, and this is a how to build an awesome Nether portal. So guys, the spot I have picked out is next to my Science Museum Rubik's Cube building and my pirate ship. I have a Nether portal that is ruined just over here. However, I want to build a better one, and I'm going to have it so it's accessible from both sides, overlooking my lava chicken shack, which, by the way, there is a tutorial available on the channel for you to check out how to build that. So behind me I have prepared 3 chests. These contain all of the things we need to build this epic portal. So I'm just going to dive into this first chest. This is going to be everything we need to build our base for our portal. So let's have a look inside and see what we've got. So in here we have all of the ingredients required to make the base of our Nether portal. In this case we've got stone, we have stone bricks, we've got stone stairs, we have andesite, stone brick wall, soul lanterns, crimson stairs, crimson fence, Nether wart blocks, Nether warts, crimson roots, and finally crimson fungus. So for the time being, all you're going to need is the stone, because at this time we are just building the base. So you are going to want to start by mapping out your Nether portal on the floor. In this case, we have a circular shape, and it's very important to get this right, because if you don't, your whole build will not work. At our longest point, we have 7 blocks, then we have 2, then we have 1, then we have a little L shape, a single 1, 2, and then another 7. You follow that pattern all the way round, turning as you go in order to make a circle. I'm just going to leave that up for you guys for a second. I've done it in black and white so you can see where each block is. So the first thing we need to do is just outline the entire lot using our stone bricks. We simply go round, we are making a pedestal which our Nether portal is going to rest upon. So just finishing up the outline, once you are done, you should have something like this. Now from here, you're going to want to fill the middle. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it is well worth doing because you get those solid foundations for your portal. So it is worth noting as well that although I am making this portal on creative mode, there is nothing to stop you from being able to do it in survival also. I think, to be honest, if you did manage to make this in survival, it would be so impressive to your friends. Maybe you could have it on a realm server as your kind of centerpiece for your world. So we're just coming to the end of making our stone pedestal, which will then lead us to the next phase of our build. There we go, marvelous. It's looking very circular and ready to go. So next up, you want to count from the corner here, 1 right and 3 in. After the third one, you are going to make a line of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. You're going to do the same again here, so you're going to jump in on this corner, 1 and then 2, 3, and your block is going to go there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should look a little bit like this. We're going to mirror that on every side. Once again, 1 in, 2, 3, and then your block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, quite simply, for this pedestal, you do 2, then 1, then 1, then 2. Once again, it's 2 blocks, 1 block, 1 block, then 2 blocks. You should, by the end of it, have something that looks a little bit like this. So once again, we are going to fill this to make it a solid pedestal. So it's the same process again, however, we are not counting one in this time. We are simply going 1, 2, 3, and then placing 5 blocks. Same again here on this side, 1, 2, 3, then 5 blocks. And again here, 1, 2, 3, and then 5 blocks. Until you have something that looks a little bit like this. Now this part's nice and easy. You just do 2 blocks, and what you are going to have is a 3-tiered pedestal by the end of it. So similarly to the lower levels, you are just going to fill it in. So there we have it, 3-tiered pedestal ready for our Nether portal. However, it's looking a bit samey and bland at the moment, so we are going to spice it up with some texturing. The way to do that is randomly across the build, you just want to replace blocks to give it that textured look. You can do that with the andesite, you can also do it with the stone. Now my advice here guys is to keep this away from the edges. So for example, don't have that, it is an eyesore. You want to keep stone around your entire perimeter and just replace random blocks as you go, so never on the edges, just on the stone. To save yourself a bit of effort, you might want to have a look from above. Just remove some blocks so you can see how your pattern more or less is going to look. Additionally, in some cases you might want your pattern in lines of 2. I wouldn't do this too much on your build because it may damage how it looks. However, you can do it across the board in order to give it that rustic feel. Once you have done the upper tiers, you just need to remember that the lower tier is here too, so you will need to texture this one as well. Now, it is Minecraft guys, so you can do whatever you want in this texturing process. You could swap it out with mossy bricks if you want. You could use a completely different material. It's really down to your own creativity. Upon finishing your texturing, I would just recommend going from above, having a look, just to make sure it looks a little bit random and that it has that kind of textured look going on. So guys, next up you are going to want your stairs. We are going to build the stairs going from the top tier down to the bottom tier, and we want these on all sides. So we are going to have 3 sets of stairs there. Then we are going to have another 3 there, and then finally at the bottom we are going to have slightly more, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need to mimic this on every side of your pedestal. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then finally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you are finished, you should have something that looks a little bit like this with the stairs going up. Next up, you are going to grab your stone walls, and on each corner of your staircase you are going to place 1 like so. So again, on each corner next to the final stair you need to place a stone brick wall. Same again on this side, quite an easy job to do, nice and quick, just like that. So once you have your stairs set up, what you need to do is go to the top of your pedestal, and where you have your stairs here and your stairs here, you need to count in from the walls. So 1, 2, 3, that is your middle point, and then count 1 block out and place another stone wall. Once you know where this one is, you're going to do the same again on the lower tier. So you should have something that is directly central like that. You do the same again on each side in order to make an X shape when you look at it from above, which we will now. So now your stone pedestal is made, what you need to do is return to the chest and grab all of the other bits that you need. The first thing we are going to be using is the soul lanterns. With these, they simply line your stairs like so. So a soul lantern on each level of your pedestal on the left and the right of the stairs. Once finished, you're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. So next up, you're going to need your crimson fence, and for this you are just going to place a single crimson fence post on each of the diagonal wall pieces you set down. For the crimson fence posts that you've placed on your second level, you are going to place a stone wall just on top as a singular. Next up, you are going to put a piece of netherrack on the top like so. You are then going to get some trapdoors and close them in like this, which will give you a cool looking lantern. You keep going round until you have done all of the lanterns like so. Next up, we are going to place one final fence post at the furthest most corner of the last level. So in the middle of your staircases, you will have a point like so. You place a wall there, and just on this side. It's nice and easy to see because it's in line with your torches going up to the middle. Here, it's a similar design, so one fence post, one piece of wall, one piece of netherrack. However, a slight difference is we're going to be using stairs and inverting them upside down to look a little bit like that. You repeat the process going round, so once again, one piece of crimson fence, some stone wall, some netherrack, and then inverted stairs going around. Once completed, your base should look a little bit like this. There is just one finishing touch, and it is a further soul lantern on each of these. Now that is done, we are going to do some more texturing. So we want to carve out a fairly random shape at the top here. We are just going to remove some of our stone, but never to the edges. Ideally in the middle, we want it to be fairly solid, but never symmetrical. And then as we get to the end, we can do twos, we can do singles, but never to the absolute edge of our build. We're going to do the same again on the second level, advisably where our shape stretches out the most. So here, for example, maybe one there and a couple just here. You can, if you like, expand your shape, change it however you like. On the third level, just random spots. And in a moment, we are going to literally throw in a block to all of these. Ideally, you want to keep your stairs fairly clear. In this case, I haven't. You also want to fill every gap. So I am just going to correct my stairs. So I do not want netherrack on my stairs. Stone bricks fine, andesite fine, netherrack no. So once you have your netherrack in, you want to add a couple of nether wart blocks. These should be directly adjacent to netherrack in all instances, but again, never on the edges. And ideally, you don't want too much of it. It does lose its effect if you do have too much. So just a minimal amount going around your build. So at this point, an ingredient that I forgot to mention that you will need is crimson nylium, which you are going to place in your build like so. You want it spaced out but intermittent throughout your netherrack, and ideally again adjacent to it. Once you have replaced your blocks, you are going to go round and bone meal. So you just keep going round, keep adding it where you think it needs to go, and just bone meal so it looks like the crimson roots are growing in their own way. In some cases, you may want to keep planting until you get a mushroom, but I'd recommend you don't have too many mushrooms. By the end of it, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. For the next part of our builds, we are going to just dump all of this in a chest, and we are going to go into our second chest. So within this chest, we have some obsidian, some chiseled, polished blackstone, some blackstone stairs, polished blackstone bricks, polished blackstone brick stairs, gilded blackstone, polished blackstone brick slabs, polished blackstone stairs, and polished blackstone slabs. We are going to take all of that, for our inventory. At this point, we are going to count 17 blocks of obsidian up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Once we hit the top, we are going to build one in like that and have this kind of shape. We're going to do the same again on this side, but much faster because now we know the height that we need, and once again build one in. You should by the end of it have something that looks a little bit like this. Now upon completion, this is where you can begin to get creative. In my case, I like to start at the hilt and I like to make 5 chisel stone blocks in this kind of formation. And whatever you do on one side, you should repeat on the other, leaving a gap in the middle for your portal when you eventually light it up. Then adding one more chiseled stone to the hilt, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. But again, it's Minecraft, you can design it how you like. One item that you will need as well, again guys, I apologise for not adding it in, we're going to need some more blackstone. In this case, we are going to have polished blackstone wall, and we're going to have just blackstone wall by itself. Now from here, we're going to go from the base of our nether portal and build all the way up to our first brick. Same again here, we're going to decorate this obsidian so it looks brilliant. You do this on both sides, and then finally you will do the same again on this side, all the way up to the same level as your chiseled blocks. Same again on this side, and then you should have something looking like that. Now from your chiseled block, you are going to count 1, 2, 3 blocks down, and then 1 to the right, and this will also be replaced by a chiseled block on either side. Above this, you are simply going to replace with blackstone, like so, and the same again on this side. So in the end, you should have something looking a little bit like that. We are then going to fill in blackstone on either side, going round to cover that middle gap between our chiseled rocks. And just here, we are going to connect these with blackstone wall in order to make it look like it's actually being held up. And then finally, we are going to put some stairs inverted on all sides, like so, and we are going to need our slabs at this point, which we are going to place on top in order to properly connect it. So you should have something that looks a little bit like that so far. We're then going to add some more brick just to the top, like so. And again, we're going to get in there and add some inverted brick stairs. Like so. So when looking at your portal, what you need to do is move to this chiseled block, and you are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks up, and then place an additional block on either side. Continue building this down into a diagonal. You only need 3 blocks like so, going down in the diagonal like that. So you should have a shape that looks like this. Add 1 additional block to the top. This can be a brick. And once you have that shape, you can use a variety of stairs on your build, like so, in order to shape that off. Once complete, you need to get your polished slabs and just put 1 underneath each of the blocks you have already placed, and then you will simply put an inverted stair on each side. These can be different or the same, it is really up to how you want to build it. Next, you want to get your gilded blackstone, and throughout your design you can just add it in where you fancy. What I would suggest, however, is do not add too much, because it does take away from how good it looks. just enough to make it look good. Try to avoid symmetry, because if you make your design too symmetrical, it will not look good. So on your lower protrusions, what you then need to do is build 2 out like that. It can be any block you like from our collection, but I'm going with blackstone. We then build another 2 out, and same again on this side. And then finally a single block like so. You should have a shape that resembles this so far. On the very end, you want to add a chiseled block like so, and then again at the diagonal you want another chiseled block there. Upon completing that, 3 more blocks just connecting to the middle there, and then what you are going to do is equip your stone slabs, your polished ones. You can have a mixture of both polished and brick. And we are just going to layer this out so it looks nice and natural. You can make it symmetrical if you choose. You don't have to. But remember that slabs can only go on top of the same slab each side. So in the middle, I have kept it as brick slabs because they are the blocks that I'm going to use above. And I will just complete that now. And then just here, I'm going to add 1 brick slab to the top. And the same again on that side. Underneath, it's the same story. You can use stairs. You can use multiple designs of stairs in order to curve this off. It should become a natural process as you're building. And then add a stair to the end of each chiseled block. And then finally another just connecting it like so, and then just give it as much of a natural curve as possible. Once completed, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Moving to the middle of our design, we are just going to grab our stone slabs again and add these to the top to form an X shape. We are then going to place black stone blocks just above in a total square like so. From here we are going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up, and it should look something a bit like that. And then we are going to add some stairs going round. Remember, these stairs can be any design you like, brick or blackstone. And then finally we are going to embellish once again with a couple of creative features of our own choice. Once this is done, you should more or less have a hilt, and it's coming together to become a fairly decent sword. From the top here, you'll add 1, 2, 3, 4 more bricks, and then at the very, very top, you are going to spread this out with blackstone to make a cross. Once your cross is done, with some brick stairs, you will just add inverted stairs to the top, like so. And then on the very top, you want some polished slabs in a X formation, like so. So now the basic design for your portal is there. You need to return to the chest, which is just down here. We are going to dump our blackstone for the time being. We don't need it for this part. Next up, we have our third chest. This contains crimson slabs, crimson planks, crimson stairs, crimson trapdoors, soul lanterns, which we already had, chains, and a flint and steel. We are almost done with our design. We are just going to add some further embellishments on our sword design. So we're going to begin by adding 2 slabs at the top of crimson wood in order to give us that little wooden nubbin at the top. So from here we are going to take some of our bricks out, not all of them, and we are going to replace this with crimson wood. Upon completing that, we are going to add some stairs either side. Just here we're going to replace these in order for it to fit properly. Once done, we're going to just place some more slabs like so in order to make a square shape. And then at the furthest end, we want some crimson stairs like so. Again, we want another slab just joining it up like that. Round the edge here, we are going to want on top of our top wall post there, we are going to want 2 of these on each side. So crimson slabs just on each side like so. And then 2 more just following along from them, 1 slab elevation up. A final slab added to the end. Again, what makes a good Minecraft build is depth. An additional slab just on top here, but you want it so it's hovering like so. Again, on this side, you just want that hovering. You do not want your slab to be connected fully. And then finally on the end, 2 more. And then at the very end, you want a staircase, followed by an inverted staircase, connected like so. So now you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Next up, you're going to want soul lanterns. You're going to place 1 at either end of your sword. And then a few more just on the top here. Now this could be a problem depending on the slabs. What I'm going to do is take these ones out, just lower that by 1 and then add my lanterns in like so. Returning to our blackstone chest for 1 improvement, I'm going to grab some blackstone wool. We're just going to head back up to the top here, and where the hilt is, we're going to add 1 blackstone wall to each corner. From here, we're going to add chains, and these can be varying lengths. I'd recommend, again, don't go for symmetrical. Just go for whatever feels right. Once you have your chains, you're going to attach a soul lantern to the bottom of each, like so. Next up, you're going to want crimson trapdoors, and what we're going to do here is just embellish the design with some more wood in order to make it look like it really fluidly works together. So ideally we want this on the hilt of the sword. Just here we are going to add another slab just so it connects up nicely instead of having that. So just to embellish the design further, I've got some crimson fence panels. I'm just going to go around my design and just see if I can add any in strategic places to give my design a little bit more depth. Again guys, Minecraft is a creative game. You can play it how you like. So there we go, my sword is almost finished. I'm going to use some crimson trapdoors just to add a little bit more flair to my design. Last but not least, we are going to add some further chains just hanging from our design. We need to make sure that they are adequately connected, like so. If connecting them does become an issue, you can always adapt your design by taking a slab out and try to avoid symmetry as much as possible. So on this side I have 1, 2 and 2, and on this side I have 2, 1 and 2. I'm going to add a lantern to the bottom of each. And the same again on the other side. A last finishing touch I'm going to add is just some more trapdoors on the side here, 3 going down, and I'm going to mirror that on each side. So finally our portal is ready to be lit. I'm going to grab my flint and steel, head down to the bottom, and voila! We have a nether portal, and not only is it a nether portal, it is a fancy nether portal. Look at that. It looks amazing. So let's just take a moment to admire it. So guys, with the portal built, there's only one last thing to do, and it's to see where it comes out on the other side. So I think that's a really fine looking portal. Let's just see where we end up going through it. So unfortunately not as impressive on the other side, but for anyone going into your world from the Nether, they are going to have quite the experience. It is one of those builds that looks fairly complicated, but with a little bit of creative flair you can really make it your own. So guys, if you did find this tutorial useful, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because it absolutely helps me in every way. And if you do have a go at building this Nether portal, then do share with me. I would love to see your guys' creations. And if you can suggest any improvements on my design, then please feel free to let me know in the comments. What builds do you want to see next? What shall I create for my next tutorial video? You guys decide, let me know. Until next time guys, please stick with the channel, and I will see you again soon.